Brian Wilson, Mary Catherine Ham, Brian Neiman, today's newsmakers, and you, the Morning Majority. 105.9 FM, AM 630. WMAL.
7:30 on the Morning Majority, and we have Dan Harris, who is in State College, Pennsylvania, up at Penn State, of ABC News. How's it going, Dan?
Doing well. How are you?
Hey, so yesterday, did the Penn State put out anything yesterday as a college? There was no press conference yesterday.
No, but Joe Paterno is going to be holding a press conference right around noon today, and these will be his first on-camera comments since the scandal broke. I'm not sure he'll answer questions about this, but it's going to be hard for him not to.
Right.
There will be a lot of us there in the audience.
Will it be on camera and not just...
I thought it was going to be a phone thing.
No, it's on camera.
Oh,
okay.
As far as I'm told.
Okay. So
Unless I got bad information.
No,
we were told.
It's very possible. I've heard conflicting reports that it may have been a conference call, but a lot of times they do these things in person. There was a report out that Penn State's the current athletic director there, or the communications director, Jeff Nelson, was asking the media that if you're going to go to the conference, not to ask questions about anything but the game on Saturday, and that Joe Paterno and the Penn State football players won't be answering questions about anything else.
Interesting. I hadn't seen that, to be honest with you. So, but I had seen some things. We had gotten some guidance, kind of through back channels, that they were not planning on answering questions about the scandal.
Right.
But like I say, it's going to be hard for them to not do that, just given the volume of questions that will inevitably ensue.
Do you know, I don't know if they put this out there, but the person who I want to hear from more than anybody else, even more than Joe Paterno, is the grad assistant, who it's reported that is Mike McQuarrie, who is now an assistant coach with the football team, was a former quarterback, and was the grad assistant who allegedly saw Jerry Sandusky in the shower with what he thought was a 10-year-old boy. I think he has a lot of questions to answer. I'm wondering whether or not he will be made available, and what is his status with the university at this time?
I think you're really onto something. There are two big things that I want to ask him. One is, why did he not try to stop the abuse when he saw it?
Right.
Instead, he went upstairs and called his dad. And in fact, there is a really tough quote in a local paper this morning from the mother of one of the victims, who says she finds that behavior reprehensible. Now, I think it's tough to pass judgment on what somebody does in high pressure situation.
Right.
But I do think that it'd be worth asking him that question. Let me say the second question I'd ask him is, what exactly did he tell Joe Paterno?
Right.
Because Joe Paterno has come out and said in his statement that he did not know the full extent of the alleged abuse between Jerry Sandusky and that estimated to be 10-year-old boy in the team showers. I want to know, why did McQuarrie apparently hold back in his meeting with Paterno, or is Paterno not telling the truth?
Well, I always hate this question when I was a reporter, but I think I'd really like to know the answer to it. What's the mood there? There's this story that on the wires about a 23-year-old biology major by the name of Julie McGuinn, who says that, I don't know of his involvement, I think he should send a strong message if he would step down. Then she's standing in front of the student union with a sign that says, I paid a 6-figure tuition, and all I got was this lousy sex scandal. So what is the mood there on campus?
It varies. I was doing an interview last night, and a couple kids walked by and said and chanted Paterno's innocent. But I've also heard from that there are pockets of anger on campus against Joe Paterno. Overall, the mood is these are overused terms, but shock and sadness. One of the professors said to me that it's like a collective punch in the throat. Another professor said that there's really a genuine sort of grief and mourning process, and that includes anger at some times, sadness at others, denial, et cetera, et cetera. So it's I can tell you one thing: everybody knows the final shoe has not dropped on this thing.
Yeah, I think it may end up being a 5 stages of grief situation for Penn State fans here. I mean, it's a very serious thing. Oh, who is handling the response? Is it the university as a whole, or is it the athletic department, or Paterno himself? Where's all the messaging
Paterno's
coming
lawyers,
from?
Are they involved?
There doesn't appear to be one central thing. I don't even know if Paterno has a lawyer. His statement was released through his son, Scott, and also the university has released a few statements. I'm not sure how long the current management at the university will be in place. I think there's a lot of pressure on them, judging by some of the quotes I've seen coming out of alums. So there hasn't been one central source in terms of messaging.
Do you get a sense that the university understands? I mean, sometimes they say denial. It's not just a river in Egypt. I mean, sometimes in a situation like this, you're in complete denial when you're in the middle of something like this. Does the university understand the response that's about to come down on that university, the number of cameras that are going to show up, the national interest in this particular press conference?
I'm not sure. I'll be honest with you. I am not sure they understand. I'm not sure they understand what the consternation and confusion that has been caused by the fact that they've stood so stoutly behind their two executives. But perhaps, look, as somebody said to me the other day, there was a period of time when everybody firmly believed that those lacrosse players at Duke University abused that woman, when in fact, after the facts shook out, things turned out differently. So
I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to ask you about that. Are you hearing any story that, or whispers around there that will paint a picture that maybe this didn't happen the way that the Attorney General says it happened in Pennsylvania?
No, but the reportedly, this is reportedly the defense that has been mounted on behalf of Jerry Sandusky has been that these children who are making these allegations come from the sort of background that makes them unreliable witnesses. Because bear in mind they come from absent or dysfunctional families. And there was an interview this morning in one of the local papers where one of the mothers of the victims takes issue with that in a quite
that is an audacious
way.
defense.
Well, there are also two eyewitness accounts from people who work at Penn State of him actually seeing, Sandusky involved in a sexual act. One, the grad assistant Mike McQuarrie, and another was a janitor in 2000. So, there are some eyewitness accounts here, which is a little bit different than Duke lacrosse.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely correct.
All right, Dan. Good to have you on. We appreciate it. Thanks very much.
I still think.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Dan Harris, ABC News.